Good evening. I'm calling to order the July 16th meeting of the Littleton Park and Recreation Commission. Starting with commissioner updates. Norm, anything?
I do not have anything.
Kate?
Kate, we can't hear you.
Oh,
There we go.
you just switched over to my car, evidently. I do not have an update.
All righty. I have a couple of quick updates. I guess one update and then the other is later in the agenda. So, we did complete Alicia's review, myself, Peter, and Jim Duggan. So I think we may have the final signing may have slipped slightly past the deadline, but overall we got it done ahead of time or on time this year. So we're moving in a better direction, and we've set reminders for ourselves to start the process a little earlier next year. So
yeah,
making steps in the right direction there. I think that's all I've got. So, minutes.
Where did the minutes go? They were in there. There we go. So there is May 13th and June 10th.
Make a motion to approve May 13th and June 10th minutes.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second with a roll call vote since we're online. Norm?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes.
Let me go back to this.
Yes, so I have been following, and for this one, maybe we can go ahead and promote Rob. He's a member of the Charter Commission. I don't know that he's here as a direct representative of the group, but if he has anything to add, I think we'd be happy to hear it at this point.
There we go.
So the town has been looking at changing some of the and or rewriting the laws that structure the government by creating a charter, and there is a commission that's looking into the various branches of government and bylaws and those sorts of things. The two things that are of probably particular interest to us are the role of the town administrator / town manager, and then the structure and how boards are created or appointed, or so those are things that I think they're getting to. The discussions primarily so far have been select board and town manager. They're just about to get to boards and committees. There had been some discussion that they would be interested in meeting with members of boards in small groups. That seems to have been set aside, and they're going to invite our board as well as Alicia and the staff to some of their meetings in the future. So that's coming, and something we'll be invited to go participate in at some point in the future. I think the one that is probably things to think about are they may be moving to a stronger town manager who would have hiring and direct management and firing authority over all of, or nearly all of, the town hall staff, including the director for our department. So that's a fairly significant change for us. And then I don't know where they're going in terms of boards, whether it would continue to be an elected board or an appointed board, or how that would go about. So, but I wanted to just wanted to highlight this because I know they will be reaching out. I think they will be reaching out to us at some point in the not too distant future to talk through some of this. And if there's any questions, or if Rob, you have anything to add to that.
So I do have a question.
Yeah.
I know they're discussing this and, figuring it out, but do they have a date or a time frame in mind that they hope to make a decision?
So I believe the entire process, which started over the winter, is sort of penciled to run about 18 months.
Okay.
At which point they would have a draft charter that would then be I forget the exact process, would be presented to town meeting, as well as I think sent to the legislature to be approved. So there's a fair number of steps involved, but it's so yeah. I think we're probably somewhere between a third and sort of halfway through their process. But
Okay.
Kate, I do believe their website had February 2026 as their potential, like that was their goal. So, but who knows? Yeah.
No, that's helpful to know. Just it's not that long of a process in reality then.
no, I mean, yeah, no, that's right.
Okay.
So that's really all I have at this point. Yeah, once they decide what order they want to see the various committees, I assume we'll get an invitation. But I wanted to let everybody know that was coming, and you can start thinking about it, how things work. So, all right. Project updates?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. We'll go sad news and then good news. So the office has temporarily moved back to 41 Shattuck Street. There was a leak in the fire suppression line that's caused damage to the second floor, women's bathroom on the first floor, and bathroom in the basement. So the building is closed to the public until those repairs have been completed. We've been given a possible 2 weeks is the we'll call it a guesstimation of when we should be able to have the building fixed and be able to get back in, but we really don't know an answer to that right now. The preschool we did move them up to the third floor just to be able to give them a space for the summer. But it seems like there has been cooling issues in town hall as well. So they have decided to move land use over to the 33 side. So preschool will permanently move up to that third floor. So we'll say permanently, how things go. And for the time being, till the building is opened back up again, Teen Adventures will be temporarily based back at 41 as well. Our staff's been kind of going back and forth. It's hard to work on your laptop all the time. So the building, we've gotten approval from the fire chief to be able to have our staff be in there, but it's just not open to the public.
And so long term, there's no plan for anybody to move into the second floor? Is that
I do not believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think ultimately when land use moves over to 33, then theoretically The first floor and the basement floor would be empty.
Okay.
Tennis and baseball. So this has been moving along really quickly. It's been really amazing. The retaining pond is completed. They'll be working on doing loaming the rest of this week. The trench drain is on site. And then they're also going to start working on demolition at the baseball field. So like the backstop, old dugout stuff, all of that stuff has to come down to make space for the new. So yeah, they're just kind of flying along. So I figured pictures show 1,000 words. So July 1st, we started with them just removing dirt. July 8th, they had all of the substrate down. And then this past Saturday, they actually put the binder down. So it is really, really moving along quickly. Yeah, Cataldo's been amazing to work with. So yeah, nothing but good sunshine with that.
Cool. Good news.
Yeah. Any questions or anything about that?
Nope.
Okay. We seem like we're staying on track with it. So, I think some of the bigger items, like we have to be able to put in pole structures for the netting to go up. Some of that stuff might not get here until later in winter, but we'll be ready to go in spring. So for the most part, those are just some few items that we may be waiting on. But it won't hold the project back. Okay. Special events. So third Thursdays. This third Thursday is going to be at Long Lake Beach. So it's tomorrow night from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. We will have the Children's Entrepreneur Market back. We had them at Touch a Truck event. It's amazing. It's just a whole bunch of kids that are working with a nonprofit to learn how to start their own business. And they're just phenomenal. So bring cash. The kids are very creative and come up with some really cool things to buy. We'll have two food trucks. So we'll have the Heavenly Dogs, which is hot dogs, and Kona Shaved Ice there. And we'll also have a live band, Hurricane, which is a rock band. So it will be a very amazing event. It looks like the weather's great. So definitely come out and join us. And the hope still is that August we'd be able to have it at 36 King Street as sort of an open house with Third Thursday. But that truly depends on the building repairs and where we're at. So I'm going to stay optimistic and say that we still will have it there. If not, then we'll probably end up back in Fay Park. So that is it, I believe, for special events.
Alicia, I have a question.
Yeah.
For parking, are we encouraging people to park at Shaker Lane for tomorrow night?
Yes, that would be extremely helpful. Camp will definitely be out by that point in time. I think, we have limited parking spots down by the beach. So, once those are gone, I think the closest accessible space definitely would be at Shaker Lane. It's a pretty short walk. I mean, the kids from camp go every day back and forth from Camp T or Shaker Lane down to the beach. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, we should
And they're
have
hauling
something.
stuff.
Sorry, go ahead, Kate.
I was going to say, and they're hauling gear. Some of them are pretty little and hauling all their stuff. So
We
adults
try to
should be able
not-
to do it.
We try to make sure that they have they wear their PFD and they have their water bottle, and that's about it. Yeah, no, that's fair.
But we should do some, alternate parking signage or handouts just to, if you have somebody at the parking lot entrance, they can direct people to where the school is just in case.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of staff on site, so that's something we can set somebody up to be able to do that.
Yeah, you get a little over a month to get the building fixed, so that seems possible, maybe.
It may be going through insurance. I really don't know. So with that, I'm not sure how long that process takes.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't know that much about it. They've kind of been handling that all internally with town administration and facility management.
Okay.
Okay. Director update. So finance, July, we really don't have anything because it is literally the beginning of our fiscal year. Once we have everything tied up for the last fiscal year, I'll do a full presentation next month. I have completed all the paperwork to finish out our 24-25 after school and out of school time grant. That was through United Way. So we ended up using about 98% of those grant funds to support the after school program, the club, with a majority of that going to assisting with staff wages. So that was a huge help to have that grant this year. So when and if they open it again, I will apply for that. They usually do open it sometimes in the end of July and sometimes, in August. So that would be my intent, would be able to apply for that again. So if we do that, go through the process, and if we are awarded again, then I would just have to get approval through the park commission as well as the select board to accept that.
I think a recap in August is probably is perfect. As we talked about, I think maybe then starting in September, pick one of the big winter programs from last year and do a
breakdown,
a deep dive. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I'm happy to do that.
Whatever the big one is, from probably ski. I would assume, but
we could also go back to like past fall and look at like youth flag football, something like that. So
whatever seems to make sense. But
okay. If you guys have a preference, just let me know, and I can be sure to focus on whatever programs you would like to see.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So unfortunately, Rachel Berg has turned in her 2-week notice. So July 30th will be her last day at the department. We just found out last night. So we don't have, we know what we want to do, but we want to be able to discuss it as a group. That being myself, Tim, the assistant director, and our 2 program coordinators, Kelsey and Mel. Just to make sure that we're making decisions that are going to be the right thing for our department right now, and obviously for the future. So if for some reason we need to do like a special meeting to be able to post something, I will just let you guys know that that's something I'm looking to schedule, and that would just be like a special meeting. The one thing I did want to cover is the stipends policy, because the stipends were just given out. So I made a mistake, and the stipend that I gave out, we did them in lump sum, and they were supposed to be spread out over the 26 installments for the fiscal year. So Rachel did receive her stipends, and due to the policy, that's something that we'll have to work that out with finance, how that works, because she would have to pay back some of those, some of the stipend funds. I think we would prorate it so she would get to keep the first week's pay for like that month, but the rest of that would have to come back to the department. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, let you guys know. Yeah. Okay.
So that was the stipend for this fiscal year 2026 that just started in July, right?
That's correct. So,
Okay, got it.
yeah, the last meeting you guys had approved the Red Cross, which was 2,500, but that's supposed to cover Red Cross hours that will be performed, right, for this fiscal year, and obviously that will not happen.
Right.
And the same with the certified park and rec professional. So that, the receiving those stipends, as it says via the policy, carries that obligation of service, throughout that fiscal year. So yeah.
Okay, got it, which makes sense for the 26 weeks that you mentioned. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Saul?
Public input, Rob, I think if you can unmute if you're.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, thank you. So, got a couple. First, Kate, I've attended a number of sessions in which about Shaker Lane school building project. I forget when it was, but I heard Kate ask a very good question with regard to fields, relocated, or more, it may have even been a more open question of what happens with fields given the proposed placement of the new Shaker Lane school. The answer was possibly the correct answer, but it left me wanting and wondering. And so I just think at some, not necessarily tonight, but at some point in time, Park and Rec Commission, having an agenda item, or what is the state of the fields at Shaker Lane. And then also, just FYI, I've been pursuing independently with Mary Lee from Studio G the availability of the gymnasium, because I'm, as a resident, aware of, the desirability of additional gymnasium space and access after hours, et cetera. And so I really find myself, through the answer that I've gotten, I'm not trying to be critical, but it doesn't sound like it's a policy or a capability that I think is enabled to the extent that I would otherwise have liked to have heard as to what's planned. I'd like to have an understanding that it's going to be, should it be voted in, it's going to be available as soon as it is. And obviously there's time, and I could see where folks from the building project would say, Rob, you're getting ahead of us. But I think the direction, we're speaking the direction how the classrooms are going to be better and the building's going to be addressing numerous problems. So I kind of think it's a fair question. So just, I don't know if you got any comments. I realize I'm already over 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry, Saul.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just to clarify, the gym you're talking about would be at Shaker Lane. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the school would handle all the reservations with that. That has nothing to do with Parks and Rec.
But isn't there the opportunity? Yeah, just like fields at the school, but doesn't Park and Rec then have agreements to use the fields if they're not otherwise used by the school, et cetera, the school committee, et cetera?
Yeah, but the grass fields are completely separate from like the building inside.
We do have, for youth sports, do use the gymnasiums at the various schools, including Shaker Lane. I was just trying to find the current plan, because there is a public access or a division. It's worth us having some discussion with the schools.
Yeah.
Basically they're similar to the library, where it's gated at the front door where you can get to the meeting rooms in the basement. I think their intent is to have a front area of Shaker Lane be openable, or on a separate system, whether it gets shut down at night. I just don't know don't recall offhand in the latest version whether the gym is part of that or not. I assume that it is, because I can't think of what else would be. I mean, the gym and the cafeteria are only useful things in there for after hours activity, but
Yeah.
on
Sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
The one other component just to keep in mind though is anytime a bond is taken out on a project, that we are not allowed to rent any of that space until that bond is paid off. So yeah, that's just something to think about.
And I will say Rob is correct. I inquired with the possible demolition of the existing building and the new Shaker Lane building, if it's passed, is proposed to be built up on the baseball fields up in the back. So I had inquired if creating fields where the old, current Shaker Lane, but old Shaker Lane is, if that was part of their budget. And if it wasn't, if it could be included, because I said, I don't want to get stuck as a town, like what happened with the tennis courts. And we didn't think through having these things accounted for. And it should be part of the entire budget that they're proposing to the town.
What was the response that you got to that?
I recall them saying, oh, that's a good question. And Rob, I don't know if you had further information from them on that.
Yeah,
How
no,
diplomatic.
I agree. I've heard Mary Lee from Studio G speak to it. I've exchanged some emails with her, but it's more of a to be determined and continuing the good question, which again, from my perspective, then let's get the question asked and answered. And Alicia, what you just mentioned in terms of the whole bond sort of thing, that's another reason why I'm raising this, because I'm attempting to push for the unknown to become more of a known, and something like that, if there's any ability to obtain a change with regard to that bond, stipulation, then I'd want to get that resolved. And if it's allowed legally, through a change in the bylaw, then let's get an article going in order to get this changed. And there's plenty of time to do it. So but it's more a matter of getting it on the radar screen that the question that I heard led to more questions. And now tonight, there's yet another component of a question, and I'm all for trying to do things in advance. So much like the spirit of Kate asked the question, what's going to happen? It's a very reasonable question. We all as residents want to know, how to best utilize public funds for, the residents of Littleton to do all the good things that can be done.
Yeah, so I am looking at what I think is the latest sort of design proposal. And it does have, so you lose both the Ken White softball field and the baseball field behind that.
Yeah.
They have kind of very roughly sketched in green space, essentially where the existing school in Blacktop is, showing one diamond and a couple of small rectangles. But I guess, it's worth thinking about what, if we need both the baseball and the softball field back, if we need the softball field, so I think that would put us at this point down to just, Jet for softball.
In Whitcomb, we did say that we were gonna mothball the high school as just in case. So that is something that we had kind of thought about in advance. But I think, Norm, this is a good conversation for the sports council to talk about. because that might be something that you guys get involved with and kind of speak up or have some conversations, with the school committee about that.
Yeah, I did express that missing this point could be a huge detriment to getting this project passed. I don't
Yeah.
know how seriously they took me in that, but
Yeah.
I could see there's a lot of baseball and softball fans that won't be happy, as I put it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what.
and I think
that's,
just particularly if it's if it's part of the building project, then, it moves along with the rest of the project. It's funded, it's everything else. If it is not, then as somebody said before, it's the same problem as the tennis courts, and we go chasing
Yep.
both money and design and time and all the other things for an extended period. And I think, we so yeah, I think it absolutely makes sense to continue to push that. Kate, are you attending those meetings regularly?
I am, as I can, as a representative of Parks and Rec, going to
Yep.
those. There's been a lot of chatter recently on emails, and I can't tell if there's been a meeting I missed or if it's just all happening on email. So I need to re-engage and discover what's going on. There are some private citizens who are really pushing hard to try to get organization around the Say Yes movement for this.
Yep.
And trying to get a lot of answers to people's questions and get ahead of everything. So I need to plug back in, especially from our, interest for sports events and Camp T and all that jazz.
Right. Yeah, and I think they will be at Third Thursday, so we can make some contact
For
there.
And Alicia, it's Tim that is scheduling the, I'll speak with him about the sports council because it's been a while since we've had one of those. So.
Yep, absolutely. And I know you guys are due because we have to figure out the going into fall for
Yep.
usage. Yeah.
Which reminds me, we have put off the fee discussion that we said we were going to do more regularly.
Yeah,
We should maybe
You wanna
after
put
they
that-
meet re-agenda that.
I can do that. Okay.
All right. Anything else? And yeah, we can dig a little bit on the. Have we had any discussion more recently about Camp T at the new Shaker Lane?
I have not had any conversation with
Okay.
anyone
No.
about it.
And I believe that school committee is in a lull because of the school season being in between, years. But we should definitely get back on their radar.
Yep.
And I will also bring it up because people like Michelle Kane are part of this whole Shaker Lane movement, as well as Dr. Clenchy. So
Yeah.
I'll bring it in from that angle too.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, at one point we had talked about just as a conceptually, could you keep the existing, I think, gym, cafeteria, and kindergarten wing, because that part of the existing Shaker Lane is actually in reasonably decent shape as a rec center sort of building, but I think that has been pushed aside.
Yeah.
I believe that has been taken off the table.
Yeah. So, and if we need the field space, then that may be appropriate anyway. So, all right, Rob, I know you had a couple other comments. I'm willing to entertain beyond the initial 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I feel badly with how I may be perceived on this next one.
Actually, let me stop. If this is the signs,
Yeah.
let me stop you there. am similarly was a little surprised when we got to late spring and they weren't up. We did have some discussion about that. These are the date limitation signs at the beach.
Oh,
What I would ask Alicia and Tim is that we should have those signs up well before the end of the season so that it's clear when the season is.
yeah.
I'm a little less concerned about them right now, because they are in effect and it is the high season. But we should have those new signs up well in advance of the end of the season, so it's clear that there is an end of the season.
Okay. And I do apologize for that. That is one of those things that I think with all of these, moving the buildings and it just kind of slipped through the cracks. So I definitely apologize for that, Rob. I know that's been extremely important to you. So I will make sure that we get on that as soon as possible.
Okay, good. Thank you. I've been paying a lot of attention. So the signs are on Lakeshore Drive and they're on Lake Drive, or at least those are the ones. I know there are other signs over on Town Road as well. My concern is more Lakeshore and Lake,
Okay.
and my visibility is with those as I routinely am in that area going to the beach back and forth.
Okay.
The situation that now exists on Lake Drive, and this is over numerous days during this season, that began roughly around Memorial Day or mid-June, etc. I've been a bit dismayed that most of the parking that's taking place there is basically by the staff. It's with the staff stickers, and it makes me want to at least encourage you folks to give consideration. Remove the signs, because the signs are resulting in, I'm watching because I clean up the area for invasive plants. We now have people parking on Lakeshore Drive by the bench that's closest to the beach, but the secondary one at the intersection of Lake and Lakeshore. And they're parking there because I cleared out the invasives, and now that bench gives great views, and they don't want to park along the street because they're not allowed to. So what are they doing? They're making a dangerous situation even worse because they're parking their cars not in the no parking sign area, but rather right in front of the bench and right in front of the boulder, and basically right in the middle of the intersection of, not in the intersection exactly, but along the side of the road where there's already a height differential between the roadway and the gully that's been eroded by, nature and water runoff, etc. But it certainly doesn't help to have tires and cars weighing as much as they weigh to then further compact the soil there. And then in addition, it's increasingly common, although it's not the norm, but there's people now parking along Juniper Road, I think because of this, and they don't have stickers, but they are going to the beach, and they're all trying to evade, as often said, they're trying to evade paying the fees, etc. And how successful they are, I don't know. I just know that I'm clearing an area of invasives as well, and they're parking in very close proximity off the road, there as well. And it's like, I thank you for the time to speak with regard to this issue. I'm trying to make our area better and inviting. And part of that to me is, with regard to the signs on Lake Drive, why should the staff have a preferential treatment versus just regular residents? I'd rather have that parking be available and not have residents or non-residents parking basically off-road and starting to destroy and compact soil that's going to create yet a different aspect of a problem. So thanks for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
I just want to follow up with that. The staff are not supposed to park there, so we will definitely have a conversation with them. We talk about this with them every year, and they will have a conversation because they should not be there.
And where is staff parking?
So they can, a lot of them either get dropped off, or they can park over at Shaker Lane.
Okay. Yeah, I know some of them come by bike as well. So
Yep, absolutely.
but okay, so yeah, so that's something certainly to have a chat with the staff about.
Yeah, we'll follow up with that.
And obviously you can tell them that there are eyes out there. So
Yeah.
Rob, thank you for bringing all those things to our attention. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I don't think we have any other.
So just there's like two more things with new business. I don't know that I have to get you guys to approve this, but we might as well, we're here. So as we go into the fall for the after school program, we do want to post those positions so that we can start to find somebody now. Those programs start faster than you think they do. It's usually the last week of August, the kids are back in school. So, we have to be able to have that, the club up and running. So, I just wanted to see if we get your approval to be able to post those Schedule B positions for the special course coordinator for the club and for the lead counselors for the club.
If
And is
there's no,
Yeah, I was just asking, how is that just two positions or they're multiple?
The special course coordinator, there will only be one.
Okay.
And the lead counselor, there will be multiple.
Sure.
I was going to say, if there's no other questions, I'll make the motion to exactly what you said.
Post the positions.
Yeah, post the positions.
All right, I think I heard a motion in a second there. So Kate,
Yes.
Norm,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Thank you.
And just that last component is we can go back to the police department for our next meeting on August 12th. Or do you still want to try at 36 King Street?
Let's just plan on the police department community room for August. It's easier to do that and not have to change it when we find out construction's not done, rather than trying to mess around. But I think we can plan for either for September or at some point in the future to get over there, and hopefully we'll get there for the open house, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
We don't have any old business. So that is us for tonight.
All righty.
Motion to
All right.
adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right. And Norm,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
I'm a yes. We are adjourned. Thank you, Littleton. Have a good evening.